The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Well, it looks like old McCabe's gonna walk. Justice in the Justice Department happens again for one of those elite people in the government, of course. Yeah, it looks like some of the rumors that are coming out. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. That old Andrew McCabe isn't going to get indicted. No Comey indictment. Hillary's still running free. Yep, yeah, that's everything that we were promised during the Trump administration. Doesn't seem to be working out so great now, does it? Of course, other people would disagree with that, but you know, if you're not bought into that Trump's the greatest president on the planet, you might think differently. But, you know, it doesn't happen that way for some people. They're bought into Trump wholeheartedly. And I don't blame you when you see the opposite party acting the way they do at the presidential pre-debates. These are debates, I guess, the presidential nomination debates for the Democrat Party. I've never seen a more bigger array of clowns in my life than at that debate. What has there been 3 or 4 now? And I can't sit through more than 10-15 minutes of it before I just start getting angry. It's incredible the amount of hatred that is on that side of the aisle. We used to hear that was the aisle of peace and love. I don't see that. So far, I've gotten about 5 or 6 real takeaways from these Democrat primary debates. The most obvious one is just about everyone is racially motivated, and they're in favor of changing the demographics of the country. The American people are too incompetent to take care of themselves, and they need government daddy. At least that's what I'm hearing out of these people. They favor sexual perversion. Some people would say sexual freedom. We'll get into some of that later on. They have no interest in protecting the border, and they pander to irresponsibility. And of course, all of them have a hatred for Trump. Starting to hear impeachment on its way. You know, we've been hearing that a long time, but they've run out of things to do against Trump, apparently. So now all they have left is impeachment. That tells you, at least from my point of view, that they are not confident in their candidates winning against Trump in 2020. And why would you be? The selection of candidates that they have given us, you've got people who can't remember things. You've got people who are strictly based on racial hatred. You got people who want to give away everything to everybody, and then you got old Bernie over there who would just love to tax us to death. At least he's not lying about that. He just would take everybody's disposable incomes and shuffle it to the government so that the less competent and the less hardworking people of the nation can get a bite of the money too. I mean, if they just get off their tails and get out there and do something, instead of going to protests all the time, just go out there and do something for yourself, make yourself a better person. get a job, start a business, do something productive, you might not be a Bernie supporter anymore because you'd realize that the government isn't there to provide little handouts to you. Little teeny handouts to you because you can't do it anymore. But you're going to vote for the Democrats because they promised the handouts. They're going to give you the handouts because they ain't going to take your money. You ain't got any. You don't have money. So why would you care if they take money from people who do? You don't want to work. You'd rather go protest. Gotta love that they think they're so intellectually above the rest of us as well. When they are, if you look at most of them, they barely wash when they go to these protests. It's almost like the scumbag rallies, all these protests out there. They bring in all the dirt bags from all around, wherever they can find them. They might even have to pay a few to get out there. And they give them a sign. Here, go out there and say you hate Trump. Go out there and protest something. Just go ahead. Don't worry about it. Go protest. There you go. Nah, you don't have to wash your hair. You don't have to take a bath. You don't have to even wipe your butt. Just go ahead. We don't care. We just need people out there, the 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 people that they can dredge up all the time. You notice when those big protests were happening, the news was covering them all the time. Now we hear about protests. We had one, what was it, in D.C. like a week ago? All these protest groups were slated to do their little protesting against whatever they're protesting against, because now it's getting confusing what most people are protesting against. I don't understand what most of them are. It's this. They're protesting everything. Might as well protest everything. Everything sucks. Everything sucks under Trump, right? Pretty much sucked under Obama. It sucked under Bush. It sucked under Clinton. There's some good stretches in there too. But overall, the more presidents we have, the more it sucks. Is it the president's fault? Maybe some of it, not all of it. It's the elite that are really running the show. And you people out there who go out and vote for these people because you don't know there's anybody else out there that's running, or you don't care to know. You keep shuffling up garbage all the time. And as we see in the Democrat Party, Hillary Clinton wasn't bad enough. They threw up the biggest scumbag in the world up there, and now they come back with just a host of scumbags, 427 different people running for president on the Democrat side. Not one of them has the qualifications to run a toilet, let alone the country. I guess that's why the popular vote talk is growing again. You see, when you can convince enough illegals, you can give them enough stuff. You can import enough people from the third world who had it so terrible in their country that they'd give any political party anything just so they could get some free stuff up here in the States. So they'll give them a vote. So the politicians and all those involved in all that figure, well, you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do? We're going to start pushing this popular vote thing again. And this is what kills me, ladies and gentlemen, because the popular vote is a myth. Because it already exists in your state. We've done, 5, 10, 15 talks over the years on the merits of the popular vote nationally versus or I should say federally, because I don't like calling the United States a nation anymore, because we don't act like a nation. We could be an empire, definitely run by a foreign government in the Washington, D.C. area. This talk about making the federal popular vote the way we choose our president, when you already have the popular vote in your state, see, that is the politician pandering to the lowest common denominator, because they have no clue that the popular vote is how things go in their state. And let me explain something to the people who don't understand what the electoral vote means. The electoral vote is there to protect the minority. And the minority doesn't mean black, white, or any other demographic group that the political ruling class can conjure up. Minority means the unpopular position. That's what it means. A lot of times what the banger has to say is unpopular. I would be in the minority on certain things. But so many out there want to silence the unpopular vote, the unpopular voice, the unpopular thought pattern, the unpolitically correct. Because these days, whatever's popular is usually a trendy, politically correct idea that has been developed and disseminated to the public by some higher up. They conjured up, they figured out some focus group, they did some kind of study and said, let's go after it. Just like the gun talk lately again. Because they think, now that there's been a few shootings again, of course they don't talk about the constant shootings in Chicago, where the numbers are always higher than any singular mass shooting anywhere else in the country. But that doesn't matter to the mainstream media because they have an agenda. And they want to sell advertising to make those big bucks and keep those crappy networks going. Now, let me explain the minority a little deeper. Do you know why skin color and gender makes people a minority? It's because the control freaks know that most people are too ignorant to know that they aren't. They have nothing to do with minority status when it comes to the political structure of this country. They've told you you're a minority, so you feel like a victim. And because you're too busy engaged in absolute despicable behavior to even care, they get away with murder. And people like McCabe and Comey and Hillary and lists and lists and lists of other people will get away with crimes against our country that you, me, and any other schlub would never get away with. You want a better government? Then you better be a better person, and we have to shame bad behavior. Not only in the government, but in everyday life. If there's a scumbag out there, shame them. People won't do that because we're supposed to accept everybody for what they are. If the person's an asshole, are we really supposed to accept that he's an asshole? Is he a murderer? Are we a society, or are we just a bunch of different groups that all hate each other? And we're going to rip society apart because we can't get along. See, we need to drop this groupthink. Eradicate the political parties. Destroy them. Get rid of them off the face of the earth. End special interest groups. Dispose of corporatism and the dependency on it. You hear job numbers, we need a job, blah, blah. Individuals do not need jobs. They'll create their own jobs. What you have is a bunch of paid slaves. Sometimes they've got us working and other times they don't, depending on recession or if we're in a bull market. But they control all that. So they control if a lot of people are working or a lot of people aren't working. Corporatism. A form of socialism that is just as deadly as any other socialism out there. Sure, it pays people, pays the buddies, the people, the elite, really good money, while the people at the bottom get chump change like they always have, like they always will. Of course, you can get yourself a union and make a contract and then be bound to that. Then you could join a political party because, hey, that's what unions are. They're special interest groups bound to political parties. We need to be responsible for ourselves. And until we can become that individually, we're never going to get anywhere as a world. We're going to continue to fight over melanin count, over gender, over what is and what isn't gender. I mean, Jesus, we have really lost our minds now that people have totally got people messed up on what a man and a woman is.
Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going? Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
Does your house need a paint job, but you don't want to do it? Then call Tom at Quality One Painting. He can handle all of your interior and exterior painting needs. He gives free estimates and senior discounts. Call Tom at Quality One, 313-982-2986. That's 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
And it's so much fun. Why you keep talking? Oh, am I not supposed to? No. Oh, back to John.
The entire idea of open-mindedness is a big lie. A garbage is open until you fill it with junk. You see, we've got to be free-thinking individuals. Individuals with a purpose in life, self-determination. Do you ever remember hearing that in school? Self-determination? They probably don't teach that anymore to the young people. What that really means is freedom. Freedom. And freedom is so simple, it's really only three things. They spelled it out in the Declaration of Independence. Way back, way before the Constitution, way before the Bill of Rights, they spelled it all out. 1, you have a right to your existence. That's that life thing that they're talking about. So many people want to deny people that. Anybody who wants to deny life in any form, whether it be before they were born, during their existence, or after, well, you can't do it after. Those people are not for freedom. Next is what you do in your existence is free of meddling, interference, or terminating your existence or anybody else's existence, because you can't do that to someone else. And finally, all your stuff in your existence is yours and cannot be taken from you. Those are three things that define freedom. You can't have that taken from you, and you can't take it away from someone else. Those three things. When they created the Bill of Rights, it was to further clarify that, because for some reason, those small, simple definitions weren't good enough for the government. You see, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, all is a guideline on what the government can and cannot do. And it kills me because you hear people talk about my free speech and I have the right to protest. You have the right to peacefully protest a grievance against your government, not against other people. If you want to protest them, you just don't buy their stuff. You don't buy their stuff, or you file some kind of lawsuit against them for whatever. We don't protest individual people. We're the people of this country. Every person has the right to do whatever they want on their land, as long as they're not hurting somebody on their land that they're not supposed to be hurting. Somebody breaks into your house, pop them one. And it all boils down to life, liberty, and property. Life being your existence, liberty covers everything. You don't need all the amendments if the government would have followed the Declaration properly and the Constitution properly. But they couldn't. Liberty means free speech. Liberty means freedom of religion. Liberty means freedom of lifestyle, as long as you're not taking it away from someone else. And your property, those are all your rights. You have them. They can't take them away from you. And some people put it as the pursuit of happiness, but I feel that falls under liberty again. Now, if I may, I'm going to boil this all down further. Freedom is a lack of oppressive forces on an individual. Now, is that America today? We've got taxes. You see what's happening to the MAGA supporters. You see what happens to somebody when they go, I don't want to make a cake for you. Can't you go somewhere else? That way I can keep my beliefs and you can still have your whatever celebration you're having that you need a cake for. Now, are the Democrats for freedom with how I've outlined what freedom is? I don't think so. Are the Republicans for freedom? Nah. Trump, Sanders, Warren, any of those people for freedom? No. Trump supporters are going to get a little mad because he supports the Second Amendment, although he's talking about getting rid of, having extensive background checks and, the red flag laws. Trump was a Democrat at one time. All you Trump supporters. And that doesn't just bleed out of you real easily. And if it's so easy to switch over to the Republican or so easy to go from Republican to Democrat, how different are those parties? Do any of the parties support freedom, as I said? I want you to think about it. Can you name one candidate that champions freedom? One corporate executive. Think about it. Everybody has the right to life. Everybody has the right to their own religion, lifestyle. And everybody has the right to their property. Government will take that away from you. All they do is make up something. Make up something. And speaking of making up something, going back to McCabe and Comey and all that, can you absolutely believe that these people in the government, and I'm going to play a clip here from James Comey, because I'm a little over the board here tonight, all over the place. Listen to this clip from James Comey.
Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Now, if they can do that to a president or a would-be president, they can do that to any of you. My suggestion is if the FBI comes knocking at your door, you say, let me call my lawyer. That's what I would do. Better call a lawyer right away. Don't say a damn word to the FBI. Because as Comey just admitted, they went there to spy on Trump. They went there to try to entrap him. Because they didn't want a Republican. Their girl Hillary lost. But getting back to freedom, I think very few people even understand the simplicity of freedom, let alone they grasp the benefits of it. Freedom is the only way we'll ever have a united world. Socialism won't do it. Communism, atheism, corporatism, they're not going to do it. They are, in fact, the opposition to freedom. Islam, Judaism, Christianity will never allow freedom. Neither will secret society, racial groups, any other political structure. None of them will allow freedom. They all promote conflict because their beliefs will always be opposed. You see, in freedom, how can you oppose everybody having an existence? How can you oppose people having their own lifestyles in their own place? free of oppression. How can you oppose that? You see, if anyone ever tries to take your freedom away, you're only going to have two choices. People in Africa long ago had a choice. Other people had a choice. Remember a few years back when ISIS walked all those people they had captured to the water? They either told them, you convert or you die. Well, those people who took death, they know freedom a hell of a lot better than most Americans. Going to see gas prices going up too if you're not ready for that. Because the Saudis are shutting down half their output because they're getting some drone strikes. Apparently Iranian rebels, or that's what we're being told. You know, you never can really tell what is happening way over there when when the news is reporting it. It's in the mainstream media. According to the Drudge Report, apparently Iran says it's ready for war with the U.S. Again, we're going to always have these kind of problems because, one, Iran meddles in other countries, and we meddle in other countries. If Iran would leave everybody alone, and we would leave everybody alone, there'd be no conflict with Iran. But everybody's got to have control of power. We also have more allegations on Kavanaugh a whole year later. I mean, give me a break, right? I'm about sick and tired of this. We went through this all. We're done with it. China is using exit bans to bar Americans from leaving. I don't know why Americans wanted to go to China in the first place. Business people, I'm sure, did because there's a lot of money there, they thought. You know, they could rip off those people. Apparently, the world is becoming more allergic to food. Well, when they have the robots, I guess they won't have to worry about humanity. Because we have robot surgeons set to spark revolution in healthcare, supposedly. Did you know that? Robotic surgeons now? So you're not going to have a doctor, you're going to have a robot. You're going to go meet Dr. whatever, Dr. R2D2 or Dr. C3PO.
Goodness gracious me.
And they're going to they're going to have compassion for you, I'm sure.
What are you talking about? And
they're going to go in there and take care of all your sicknesses. We're going to have robot doctors and robot tellers at the... Although I'm starting to think that's a good idea. Maybe I'll touch on this before we go to break. I am absolutely disgusted, and I can no longer go to fast food joints anymore. It's unbelievable how gross the people behind the counter are. You would think that there would be some kind of standards with these people, at least on how they look and represent themselves, because they're handling food. The other day, no way, man. No way at all. Went to Tim Hortons, and the person at the counter was absolutely disgusting. Looked like they hadn't washed their hair in months. They obviously hadn't brushed their teeth in many years, because not only were they stained over yellow and had, I don't know, fungus on her. I don't know. It was gross. It was nasty. It was awful. They had a few missing teeth as well. I ordered and I felt a little sick just looking at the person, and then they handed me my drink, and that was it. Having a second look at that person, and it's not just the first time this has happened, but that second look at that person, and I was just like, I can't drink this. This is nasty. That person is nasty. And I would be insensitive if I said, dude, wash your freaking hair. Brush your freaking... It's not that expensive for toothpaste. It really isn't. Brush your freaking teeth. You get a $3 toothbrush or a $4 toothbrush, a $4 tube of toothpaste that lasts you a month. One person, that's got to last you a month. A little help with your hygiene would be great, being that we're supposed to be civilized here in the United States. But you're not allowed to say that to a person, and if I would have brought it up to a manager, that would have been insensitive of me, because I'm such a rotten freaking person for not wanting to be disgusted by the person handing me a food item. Couldn't do it. Threw it out. Drove home. I didn't even care. I was done. I decided then, no more. I'm done. It's not like any of the food items are that great, and when you get them, they're never, and I mean never, as appealing looking and tasty looking as they are in their commercials. Never. Have you seen the Burger King taco? Burger King does a taco. Like, that's a good idea. Worst thing it looks terrible. Like, leave the tacos to the Mexicans or somebody who likes Mexican food. Just because they want to sell an item, a taco, because it's cheap and easy. And all they got to do is ground up that crappy patty that probably sat too long. And they go, how are you going to make money off these patties that sit too long? Well, just grind them up and make them into a taco. Throw a little crappy taco seasoning, throw lots of cheese on there. The idiots won't know it. They don't brush their teeth anyways. We got to take a quick time out, folks. I'll have more on the flip side. A little more talk on my neighbor's dog and what a chore that is. We'll be right back.
Don't move a muscle.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes! Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass for a beautiful shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
Yeah, before we continue, just want to remind you that we are running the Ron-A-Thon Campaign on the website. We're trying to raise money for our wounded warriors. $15 for the J. Lebang, the Ritz CD. And 50% of those proceeds will go to our wounded soldiers in the field. The rest will be for shipping, and if there's any left, we'll do something with the money. Just wanted to remind you of that. Let's get to my neighbor's dog, because this I've had it, and this goes down with a lot of other things that I just think society is just falling apart, and people just don't have any respect for each other at all. My neighbor, who's got 1/3 of an acre of property, same size as me. Big backyard, all fenced in. Plenty of room for a dog to run around. My neighbor, the genius that he is, puts the dog in the front yard all the time. All the time. And it barks, and it howls, and it whatever. Breaks free from its, because he doesn't put it on a chain, he breaks free from its little ropey thing. Found it in my backyard one day. I'd let my fence open because I work from back to front yard sometimes doing landscaping or whatever. So I left the fence open. There's the dog in my yard barking at me. Barking at me in my own yard. What am I supposed to do, you know? If you kick it, you give it a swift kick in the head, you know, you get in trouble. Well, the other day, the genius neighbor put the dog in the front yard again. Thing goes ballistic. It never shuts up when it's outside. Never shuts up. Because anything that goes by, and because the front yard, when we're on a busy road, cars driving by, it barks at it. Well, I'm turning left into my driveway, and this damn dog broke off of its little crappy little rope. And I'm still in the street, and I'm turning just about halfway crossing the oncoming lane to pull into the driveway, and this dog literally attacks my car. So I have to stop because I don't want to hit the damn dog, right? It's my neighbor's dog. Like, that's going to be really good. If I kill my neighbor's dog, you have no idea the problems I would have with my neighbor, let alone the personal guilt I would have. So here's this dog. I'm half in the street, oncoming traffic. The guy has to stop, coming right at me, and barely stops because I almost get hit from the front and from the back because I got to stop dead in the street as I'm turning. So if I would have got hit, I would have got sideswiped one way or the other. And here's this little piece of crap dog attacking my car. So it attacks the side door. Just when I get out, I find out that there's scratches all up and down the side door. It goes around to attack the back of my car. That's when I pull into my driveway really quick. At that point, I was like, I just got to get out of traffic. I'm holding up traffic. There were 4 or 5 cars each way just waiting on me because the dog, and they knew the dog was there. So I pull in. The dog starts attacking other cars on the street. Just attacking cars. This little piece of crap dog. Well, it chases a car down the street, chases another car, finally gets back to neighbor, then finally walks out of his house, realizes his dog's... I'm in the house by now, pissed off. Pissed! I'm steaming. If I would have stayed outside and that dog would have came to attack me, I would have kicked it like Eddie Murray did with the Detroit Lions to win a football game. That thing would have been field goal all day. And I knew that wasn't a good idea, so I went inside. But I'll tell you, next time this happens, I don't think I'm going to be so worried about running that damn dog over. I'm sorry, animal lovers. You may think it's not the dog's fault, but stupid people shouldn't own animals. And stupid people that do own animals make stupid animals. They don't discipline them. They don't train them. Every dog is trainable if you take the time and the effort. But stupid people don't train their dogs properly. And I'm sick and tired of stupid people. Just like the disgusting people that can't brush their teeth. I mean, we're in a first world, we're in the United States of America. You can buy toothpaste anywhere on the face, on any block. You can go to the stupid party store or the grocery store. There's toothpaste. The dollar store has toothpaste. Brush your teeth, dude. But we're filled with disgusting and vile people. Ignorant. Not even self-aware of their stupidity. Oh, Ringo Starr is teaming up with Paul McCartney. Should bring that up right now. To record a version of the last demo written by John Lennon. And it was done about a year before his death. A little less than a year before his death. So I think that's pretty cool. We're going to get a little more John Lennon Beatle-y type stuff. Maybe they'll call it the Beatles. I don't know what they're going to call it as of right now, but Ringo Starr got the idea. Apparently, McCartney had never heard this stuff, and when he did, he almost was brought to tears. So I'm thinking we're probably going to get a new Beatles thing real soon. Of course, John Lennon was killed outside of his Manhattan apartment on December 8th, 1980. I was a little kid then. I remember my mom bawled her eyes out. She was a big Beatles fan. Incredible. Oh, let's talk about John Roberts, that guy. He killed the census question. We were wondering how that question got taken out of the... You can't ask people if they're American or not anymore. You can't ask them if they're legal. You're just going to knock on their door and go, hey, how many people live here? Are you supposed to be in this country? We're not allowed to ask that question on a census because whatever, and it's all John Roberts' fault. John Roberts was the guy who changed a few words or two in the Obamacare to make that legal, to force mandatory insurance or mandatory taxes on you if you exist. Good appointee by George W. Bush. I'm sure we have many years to come where he's going to continually screw over the American people. Of course, we talked about McKay. That's not going to happen. In fact, I don't... the government and anybody who thinks that anything is going to happen to the swamp, I'm sorry to tell you, you're absolutely wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. It's never going to happen. It's over. Trump is not the savior you were hoping for. Either Trump has been compromised, which is very likely, or Trump was never the savior, and he was always there to just stifle the opposition, to think they actually had a voice, to think they actually had somebody to champion. But he's probably going to win the next election. In fact, I've predicted that, because there isn't anybody on the Democrat side as of right now, out of the 483,000 people that have decided to run for that that possible candidacy. There's nobody good. So we're going to end up with Trump again. Some people are going to like that. Other people are going to hate that. We're going to go through more and more and more division with the country, because that is what is supposed to happen. And until we all can stop being a Republican and stop being a Democrat and stop being a black person and a purple person and an orange person and just become Americans, and individual Americans for that matter, until that all happens, nothing's going to change. We're going to keep getting candidates that are worse than the last one. And they're going to keep getting worse because the country is continually disintegrating. So if the people in this country aren't willing to better themselves, we sure aren't going to get politicians who are going to make things better. They're only going to pander. They're only going to offer things that they know that the people with the low IQ scores, the low intelligence voter or low intelligence voter will believe, will trust. And if you trust a politician, any politician, you're not thinking straight, because you have not you have not paid attention to the history of politicians. You can't trust any of them. You shouldn't trust any of them. Most of them are charlatans. Most of them only take those positions or run for those positions because they want power to disperse your money. They want their hands on your money. Stick it in your pocket. Take out as much as they possibly can. Look at the Republicans claiming we spend too much, we spend too much, we spend too much during the Democrats, and here they are running record deficits. Trump signed them off into law. No problem. Sign them off into law. We're overseeing one of the most massive growths in our debt. Very close to reaching Obama levels, which was just astronomical. Yes, you can blame the Democrats in Congress and the Democrats in the Republicans in the Senate, because they technically own that. And you can blame Trump. Everybody is to blame up there. Nobody wants to reduce taxes. Nobody wants to cut spending. I mean, for real. Nobody wants to do the work. Because you know what that means? That means that they won't have those pet projects. They won't have those bridges to nowhere. They won't have those luxurious dinners and those fancy parties. Those enormous staffs. No. They won't have that. And because of that, they're going to continue to find ways to take your money, to raise taxes. Look, we got the old Gretchen here in Michigan. Raise taxes everywhere they can. Trying her hardest to get more money out of us. We're not raising our level. We're not trying to make our country better, and that means the individual making themselves better. Have you gone to the grocery store and actually looked at the people, and then you tell me if we're a more sophisticated civilized country today than we were 30 years ago? I don't think so. In fact, I know we're not. The degenerate side of society has been let loose by the elites. That's to keep us little people busy so we don't watch them. We've got to watch all the degenerates at the grocery store, on the streets. You drive down Telegraph Road, right over there by Van Born Road, which ain't far from here, and there's people. Groups of people pandering. In fact, I think they have a team, and they switch it up. A different person's there every day, holding up a sign. Feel bad for me, I need your money. We got to raise our game, and until we do that, I don't want to hear about people complaining about our system, because it's really to the people. Do you support big corporations? Then you're going to get what you get. Or do you support the little guy who's trying to make a living? No, you ignore him because it's easier to go to the big guy. I was just speaking to a person recently. They didn't realize that there was only like 6 media companies, and they keep consolidating their power. What happens when Disney owns everything? Do you want every movie to be a Disney movie?
Smoke them if you got them.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back.
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248-305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than an eye-reader convention.
Trump administration decided Thursday to declassify a key name long sought by relatives of 9/11 victims who were suing Saudi Arabia over allegations that their country's involvement, but in true Washington order, they didn't release it to the public. So we really don't know who's behind it. The families, hopefully the families release that. Again, why we attacked Saudi or why we attacked Afghanistan when we should have leveled Saudi Arabia after 9/11, I'll never know. There's going to be a lot of political geniuses out there that say you can't attack Saudi Arabia because Mecca's there and you'll piss off the entire Muslim world. I don't care. I really don't care. Because after 9/11, they had pissed off the whole Western world and should have got a little bit more than a black eye. But we played pussyfoot with them. And all these years later, look at what has happened to our country with the demographics. How many people from that part of the world are now here? People from a part of the world that hated us to death. See, I don't hate them. They hated us. I was always against going over to the Middle East or anywhere else for that matter and bombing them or attacking them. Leave them alone. In fact, you probably should encourage them because that part of the world never got along with each other. So if you wanted to keep them busy, you would have probably encouraged them to keep fighting each other, which we were doing with Iran and Iraq for a while. Apparently, that strategy changed. After 9/11, we decided to topple government, give Iran a bigger foothold in the area, and now we have gas prices going up because Saudi oil fields are being bombed. I mean, that was a secondary consideration with not totally devastating Saudi Arabia. They have one of the world's largest and richest oil deposits in the world, and we can't mess with them. See, we taught them how to do all that crap. We should have just took it back in the day when they were just running around on camels and kept it for ourselves. Because look what it has done. OPEC, this massive thing run by the Saudi Arabians, they fund terrorist groups themselves. Don't all countries do. They'll call them different things. They'll call them intelligence operatives or whatever. But depending on which side of the fence you're on, they're either your guy, which means they're a good guy, or they're a terrorist. Because that's how we fight wars now, because fighting directly means we have to use nukes, I think. At least with the big countries. And this is all geopolitical chess that every country is engaging in. And I don't see why anybody can't keep within their borders. Everybody's got to expand because that's empirism, which has never gone away. We didn't have it here in the States until after the 1913 debacle at the Federal Reserve and the taxes, and then all of a sudden they had lots of money to spend on wars. We've got a couple other news items before we get to your calls. Trump is expected to announce gun control legislation this week. So we're going to see if Mr. Donald is going to curtail our Second Amendment rights on the level of what the Democrats want curtailed, or if he's going to do something smaller or do anything that of any real significance. We've also got a shocking video of a bunch of black people outside of Minnesota's Target Field beating the living crap out of one white guy. Shocking video. You can go look that up. We also have violence flaring up in Hong Kong. That is something we're going to have to pay real close attention to. All right, so I think we've got that all figured out. Let's go out to the phones. Donald in Washington, D.C., you're up first.
I can't believe they're talking about impeachment. The only thing I've done for the last 2.5 years is tweet, John. Trust me, Obamacare's still there, John.
Yep.
There's no wall.
Oh, I know.
Taxes are still high.
I knew that too.
And the illegals are flowing in like a river, John. Like a river, I say.
No argument there.
Even Hillary's still running around. I don't know what their problem is.
Don't forget, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, they're all still running around.
Maybe we'll get rid of vaping.
Okay, thanks for your call.
It's huge.
Speaking of vaping, our governor up there, old Gretchen Ditzamore, she's banned all flavored vaping. And I tell you what, people are up in arms. Everybody who was trying to quit smoking and they switched over to this vaping thing are mad. But this is a typical move by the politician who is worthless. They can't tackle any important issues, but she can come in like the king and make a decree to end vaping. Classic. I'm not a vapor. I don't smoke cigarettes. This is a classic move by a worthless politician. Let's hope she's out of there in the next election. Back out to the phones. Gooberfish in Detroit. What's on your mind?
Listen here, man. I want to talk about that rapper in Sweden, man.
There's a Swedish rapper?
Did you hear about that dude?
Maybe.
Oh, man, let me tell you about him. He's out there talking about he's going to want to kill all the white people, man. And he's going to take the women, man. If you kill all the white people, I don't know how you're going to take the women, but whatever. He's out there on the YouTubers or something, and he's out there saying, kill the white people, take the women, and take their money, man. Listen, brother, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Leave the white people alone. You moved into their neighborhood. They didn't move into yours. You ever notice that? Ain't nobody moving into those neighborhoods, man. No, they want to all move themselves out to the white people's neighborhood. And then when they get there, they ain't happy. They want to kill the white person for being there. You the dumbass that moved there? You don't like the people you moved to? That's your fault. You better get along to be alone. That's what I'm saying. Just say, hey, howdy, neighbor. I know you're white bread, but that's okay. Because I know I'm better off in your neighborhood than down the street. That's all I'm saying. And then you move your ass all the way to Sweden because Africa must have sucked or something. You from Nigeria or something. But that's okay. You didn't like it in Africa, so you go all the way up to Sweden, man, and you don't like the white people. Mm-hmm. Well, why the hell did you move to that country then, man? If you didn't like the white people, why'd you keep your ass back in Africa? That's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe he wanted to see more of the world.
But don't be moving into somebody's neighborhood and then want to kill them because they live there. That's crazy. They got a lot of people with no mind in their brain.
No mind in the brain.
That's what I said. No mind in their brain, man. What you listening? Now, let me tell you something. He mad because the white people got everything. Well, that's because they work for a motherfucker. That's what I'm saying, bitch. They work for a motherfucker. Why you want to go take that shit? Why don't you get off your ass and stop rapping that crap you rapping? Them rappers, they ain't got no much brains in their head. Well, I mean, how much brain can you have if you listen to rap anyways, man? Have you heard that stuff? That ain't for the people with the, what they call it, that sophistication, no, man. That's for them people with the low IQ. That means stupid if you didn't know that.
Oh, I did.
You can't get no sophistication if you be listening to Young Stupid or MC Crapper.
Never heard of him.
Maybe his mama dropped him on his head or something.
That's a possibility. But what about slavery?
Now, don't blame them for that slavery. You ever think your ancestors just didn't want to stay in the jungle and they said, you know what, man, I'll be a slave in the United States a lot better than over here. Just saying, it's a lot better to get a whip on your ass than a lion chewing on you. How many of them people said, you know what, I'll be a slave?
Okay, I see your point.
Yo, man, I think that's all I got to say for right now. So I'll catch you later.
Thanks for your call. We've got Bernie on line 2. What say you?
Up yours, Mr. President.
Okay, thanks for your call. Bruce, you're on the John Lebang Show.
How'd you know my secret identity?
We have caller ID, Mr. Wayne.
Crap, I called on the wrong phone. Never mind.
Thanks for your call. Next on the line is Mohammed in Dearborn.
Your show is stupid, and you're a racist.
Thanks for your opinion and your call. Shady, you're up next.
I'd like to agree with that guy a few callers ago. If that rapper dude ain't happy, let him go back to the bush and rap. Let's see how many Grammys he wins there with lyrics like, the bitches in the jungle gotta run really fast, or the lions and the tigers gonna eat their ass, boy.
Thanks for your call. All right, folks, before we get on out of here, I want to remind you of our Ron-A-Thon Campaign. You can go to our website, www.jlebang.com. Purchase a copy of J. Lebang the Writ for $15, and 50% of the proceeds will go towards our wounded soldiers. This campaign began September 10th and will continue on till September 30th. We're hoping to raise $750. We're not even close at the moment. In fact, it's been a abysmal outing so far, so we're really hoping that you can get behind us a little bit, pitch in. If you do not want to purchase an album for $15 because for whatever reason you don't like it, we're putting up a $1.50 donation, and you'll get 2 songs from the album The Writ, and you can help out there. All those proceeds from that, the downloads, will go straight into the Ron-A-Thon Campaign. We also are running a giveaway on the show. Absolute Skin and Body Care gave us a $100 gift certificate for their services at their location in Livonia, Michigan. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page and like the page. Go to Absolute Skin and Body Care, their page on Facebook. Like their page. On the post that's on the John Lebang Show describing what you have to do for the contest, put 5 people, tag 5 people in the comment section asking them to like the page and share that giveaway. Then you'll be entered, and as soon as we hit 1,000 likes on the John Lebang Show, we'll be giving it away. We'll do some random drawing at that point. With that being said, we're really up against the clock, so I wanted to thank everybody for tuning into this week's broadcast. Please go to the website, www.jlebang.com. I want to thank all the affiliate stations that carry the John Lebang Show. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, I'm John Lebang, signing off from the Banger Studios.
T-minus 10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.